What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are back in the saddle Monday morning, and I always find myself getting a little jittery on Monday morning because it's like, I don't know, it feels like the pressure of a new week, and I'm like, oh God, I just hope I don't start the week with like a huge loss. And it's like I'm not trying to like, psych myself out, but it's just I get this kind of anxiety, I think, because there's a lot of pressure. And at the beginning of a new week, you just really want to have a nice, smooth start, have a couple of trades. Hey, it'd be great if you hit the daily goal or double or triple it, but just at least getting green. And today I was able to do it. If you checked out my game plan for the week ahead, I posted that on YouTube last night or yesterday afternoon. So I've been doing that on Sundays for you guys. I put GCT on my watch list, and I also had DNNA, which had a simple change. Now I can't remember what it was, AXLI or something like that. Anyways, that one didn't end up panning out. There was no trades on that. But we did get some trades on GCT to start the day. Wasn't great. Trade was small size. Did have some large moves, but did not feel confident sizing up on it. So small gains on that. Small base hits, that's fine. That's good, but I was also cautious because I was red on it on Friday. But I did make back, I guess, Friday's losses on it. Finished green on GCT. And then trades on Ape Ipo today. So got some gains on that and some trades on SVRE, which was our leading gapper in the market today. So I did get some okay trades, but then we also had the issue of the overall market was gapping down this morning. S&P is below the 200 moving average, at least right now. I'm kind of hoping that it can reclaim that level, but it doesn't really look like it will today. Time will tell. You guys might know by the time you're watching this recap. So we're getting a little bit of a headwind here as the market's kind of rolling over after this last really hot 6-week run. And so I think that that's going to be important because, it doesn't always really help a lot when the market's going up. But on the other hand, when the market's down quite a bit, that doesn't help. It doesn't make things easier. So it's definitely worth being a little bit more cautious. I'm glad I was able to get green today, locking up another green day. So August is, still going well, but I think we have 7 days left. So 4 days this week and then 2 or 3 days next week. So not out of the woods yet. I just want to finish August in good shape, and that's going to be base hit, base hit, base hit, get green. And then if I have a little bit of a cushion, try to use that to get my way, to the daily goal or maybe double it. But I don't right now foresee myself having another huge green day this month unless we have a new stock that pops up and goes really, really bananas. And the thing is, because I'm already going to be a little cautious, I probably won't fully maximize on it. We had a really nice window the first 2 weeks where we were getting some great momentum, and it softened a bit off of that. So when things are popping up now, I'm not trusting that they're going to be as exciting as they were 2 weeks ago. So being a little bit more cautious, but green on 3 out of 3 stocks today, so that's good. And I hope you guys enjoy the recap. Reminder as always that my results are not typical, so please take it slow. Don't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. If you do want to use the same tools that I'm using every single day, there's a coupon code for Day Trade Dash that expires tonight, so you can use that. That's 30% off. If you want to use the same tools and you also want to go through my classes and attend our daily mentor sessions, you can use a coupon code for Warrior Pro, 40% off Dog Days of Summer. So those links will be posted down in the description. You can check them out, and I'll see you back here first thing tomorrow morning. All right, enjoy the recap, and I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so we're gonna go over the trades from today, finishing the day at $7,299.35. That's a solid green day. No home runs, but basically 3 stocks that I hit base hits on. So got base hits on Ape, IPOs today, $3,000. Base hits on GCT, $2,000. Base hits on SVRE, $2,000. All right, that's not bad. Green on 3 out of 3 stocks. That's a good way to start the week. I mean, obviously, it's not, it's nothing crazy exciting, but it does exceed my daily goal, and that's great. So, right now I'm just trying to be consistent, and I am definitely achieving that. This is my month of August so far. So we'll add another green day there for Monday. $7,300. Okay, so let's look first at the Ape IPO. Okay, so this one, I mean, it's kind of funny, but so these are AMC shares, and it's a different, I guess it's a different class of shares. Honestly, it's a little bit more complicated than I really feel like getting into right here. So it starts trading. We'll look at the 1 minute chart. We'll look at the 1 second chart. So the only reason we'll look at the 1 second chart here is just because this thing was so kind of wild when it first started. It was crazy. So all of a sudden it starts trading and it goes basically immediately into a halt at $7.30. Just instant halt up. Okay, so it resumes, and I bought 4,000 shares right about here at about 840 as it was squeezing up. I was like, this thing is strong. I think a lot of traders are interested. So I got in at 840. It halts up 859. I held the whole position going into the halt. I didn't take anything off the table. On resumption, it opens way up here and it dips down and it ends up halting down. So I was like, all right, well, that's not great, but let's see what it does. It resumes at 10 and squeezes up to 1047. So, I mean, that was a really nice move. It drops down here to 950. It pops back up to 1050. These are 1 second candles. So this thing was really volatile. It then halts down. It opens about flat. It tries to pop up. It can't do it. And, you know, as you'll see, it does end up curling back up towards 10, but really it was just not super easy to trade. So I don't really, you know, I wasn't even sure that I was going to trade it at all, but I did take that one trade. It was basically a rip on the resumption of the first halt. And so, you know, I got some profit on it. It wasn't a huge winner, but I got green. So that was Ape. That was as it turns out, the biggest winner for me today. But the first stock I traded this morning was GCT. So when we sat down today, I was watching GCT for possible continuation based on Friday's price action. This was on my watch list coming into today, so not surprising that I took some trades on it. A little disappointing that it's rolled over here, but you know, I don't really mind. I mean, you know, it doesn't really make any difference. I guess it just is what it is. We did end up getting a nice squeeze at the open, up to $62. I traded it, but only 250 shares. That's how cautious I was on this one. I was just like, you know, after Megal and HKD, I just don't want to take a lot of risk. But my first trade on it was pre-market, and I bought this break right here of 54.50. It had sort of shown this flat top at this area, and I thought, you know, I could buy 500 shares here, and if it breaks 54.50 and goes to 55, the next spot that we're kind of watching is over this level here, which is like 56.98. So we ended up getting a move right up to that level, and I was like, that's great. I'm happy with that. Took some profit. It goes a little higher. Again, small positions, 250, 500 share trades. So nothing big. The volume was lighter, the spreads were bigger, and a stop on this would have easily been 50 to 75 cents. With 2,000 or 3,000 shares, a stop probably would have been closer to $1 a share due to slippage. So I didn't have the comfort or risk tolerance to take that kind of trade on, even though it, as it turns out, would have been a winner. And then at the open, as we ripped through this level, 57.50 for the break here over 58.67 and 60, we got a nice squeeze to all-time high 62. It just wasn't able to hold that level. So not super surprising, but got a couple little trades there. And so those were the first trades of the day. GCT put me in the green, about $1,200, and then traded a bit more at the open. And then we had SVRE. SVRE was our leading gapper this morning. And, you know, as sometimes is the case, I was kind of not really sure about it. I was like, it's moving up, but I'm not sure it's moving up enough. So I didn't take this trade here. I was like, I just don't know. I'm not sure about it. It ends up going up here. First pullback after that breakout works. Second pullback works too. It then drops back down below VWAP, gets back above it, dips below it, back above it, back below it. And then right here, it starts to pull away. And I was sort of like, Not sure I love this setup, but let me watch it for a pullback. So it goes up to a high of 93. And then I bought this dip down here off of 68. So I took a starter there, like 2,500 shares at 68. I ended up adding more on this red candle here at like 65. So I've got 5,000, 7,000 shares, something like that. And I'm accumulating through this area here. We had a high of 89, something like that. And I ended up scaling up to, I think it was 12 or maybe 15,000 shares of this with a pretty nice average below 70. We got a candle here up to 89, up to 93. And unfortunately, we double topped. It wasn't able to break through 5. If we had broken through 5, held 5, and then up to 510, 515, that would have been awesome. It just couldn't do it. So I stopped out with profit of $2,120. So on 15,000 shares, it's like, you know, I don't know, 12 cents a share, 13 cents a share. So not a big winner, but, you know, again, green. And so those two trades, SVRE and GTC, put me up about $4,000 by 9:30. And then the final trade was on the Ape Ipo, which added another $3,000. So that put me through my daily goal of 5 and then up to 7. And at that point I said, you know, I feel like it's a little choppy because SVRE at the open faded. GCT at the open was super choppy and fading. Ape, it was an IPO, but it wasn't super easy to trade. So that wasn't easy. And at that point, I sort of thought, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't push my luck too much today. I should be grateful that I'm green. I saw some traders get drug, DRUG. You know, you got a nice trade on it. I have to agree. This was a nice move, a bounce off of the sell-off from the other day. We often do look at this pattern. I tried to take a trade very similar to this. I can't remember what the stock was. You know, these will do false starts often, but this one did finally open up. And so some traders who felt comfortable buying 40,000 shares or 50,000 shares because it's a cheap stock, well, you got a nice move from $1.30 all the way up there to 261. Then it goes on a pullback and it squeezes up to over 3. So you did get some really nice action on it. I don't usually expect that much. This is a bigger move than I expected, but you got some nice action. You know, again, this started opening up around 10. It's a little cheaper than what I typically go for. So I left some money on the table. I didn't trade it. You guys had GBNH. This one this morning pops up early at 6 a.m., sells off, and then right here halts up at 10:15. So you got a nice move into a halt up. It gaps higher, goes up to 592. So I saw some of you guys traded that. I didn't trade it, you know, left some money on the table perhaps, but then it also came back down to 394. So it didn't hold up super well. There was GRFX. This was another one that popped up a bit. Little choppy, nice move there from 320 up to 4, been in consolidation, a bunch of topping tail candles here, kind of at this daily resistance level. So I don't know if it'll be able to open up, but maybe there's going to be something more on that one. But then I think it's also worth noting that the overall market. So we closed weak on Friday after hours, and we ended up gapping down pretty hard this morning. So we're actually below the 200 exponential moving average on the daily on the S&P. And this is a really critical level. You know, the 200 is important. So I thought there would be support at the 200 and there'd be buyers, you know, holding a bid around the 200 to buy the dip off that level. Not the case. It was below the 200 pre-market and it's sold off and is below the 200 right now. So we do not seem to have support at this critical level, which is a bit disappointing. So now we're getting a little bit of a bigger pullback in the market. Best case scenario would be that this candle closes as a green candle, so it closes above 418. If it did that, you have a bottoming tail that pierces the 200, but it closes above. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, we would need a really strong afternoon rally. It's not impossible, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So then I guess the next best case scenario would be that, okay, we close as you know, maybe some type of red doji, but it's at least a doji where the open is a little closer to the close and open are similar price, and then maybe tomorrow we gap higher and it is back above the 200. You just don't want to see it stay below the 200 for very long. If you do, then we're going to start to form more of a head and shoulders pattern in this area on the market. So a head and shoulders pattern then is setting up for the next leg down, which is, you know, back down towards these areas here, right? So we've been stair stepping up nicely, but this was a big step down. This is the biggest gap down that we've had in quite a while. So yeah, the market's a little weak right now. That's not, you know, and to the extent that it pertains to small cap stocks, I just sort of think of it as this general tide of, you know, momentum. So it's either in our favor or we have a headwind. And unfortunately right now we've got a little bit of a headwind. So that was another reason for me to be a little bit more cautious. Didn't seem to have any effect on drug or probably Ape, probably had no effect on those. But, you know, as we look for afternoon opportunities, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take the approach of saying, I'm going to lock up the gains, be grateful for another green day, and try to do it again tomorrow. Even though I'm leaving money on the table by not trading as much later in the day right now, or even later in the morning, you know, the consistency, I think, is speaking for itself pretty well. If we look at time of day, we'll see, let's see, time of day, you know, for the most part, my profits have been, you know, early. Yeah, I've made money in the afternoon. We've had, except for this one block between 2 and 3 o'clock, you know, which is only 2,000 in the red. But, you know, generally speaking, it has paid this month to trade a little bit later. It has added, you know, a pretty substantial amount to my gains. But that's also partly from when we were seeing earlier in the month the afternoon momentum on HKD, Mega L, and a couple others. You know, just generally speaking, afternoons are not where I do the best. So trying to right now be consistent about booking profit and be totally okay with leaving some money on the table and not fighting it out. One of the things that I mentioned on Friday was that, you know, Friday I went into the red. I got a little too aggressive early. I flipped from green to red. I was down 6,000, and I had to trade pretty aggressively to get myself back just to flat. I ended up finishing slightly green, but I had to trade pretty aggressively to do that. And so that meant I was trading more actively. I was taking larger share size. I was really trying to get myself back into the green. And on a day where I might have just gotten green in the first, you know, hour, I wouldn't have probably felt the need to trade so aggressively or to take those setups. Now, the fact is, those trades were profitable and I did finish green, but I feel like sometimes being aggressive when you're red works until it doesn't. Because sometimes when you go red and then you start trading really aggressively to get back to green, you know, you start taking bigger share size, taking a little bit higher risk setups. And when the market's not on your side, you can end up catching a really nasty flush. And then that's how you find yourself at max loss. And I've had that happen many times. So, you know, obviously it's better if you can just avoid digging yourself a big hole that then puts you into this mindset of having to be aggressive to try to recoup losses. So that means starting a little bit more conservatively, building a cushion, and then once you have that cushion, trying to use that a little bit to extend your day, but without risking giving it all back. So I didn't do a good job of that on Friday, but today I did better. And so my account right now, you know, is sitting at all-time highs, and not in terms of the dollar balance in the account, but in terms of my total P&L. So by keeping red days really small and or avoiding them by under trading a little bit, it positions me so every single day I can come in basically at the top of my game. I can come in like, you know, ready to trade and be aggressive if we have good opportunities, and not clouded by judgment from, you know, from digging myself out of the hole or feeling FOMO because I had a big loss. I can just come in each day ready to trade, you know, the best I can. So, you know, I think that, yes, if I had gone red today, I probably would have traded longer, and, you know, I might have ended up, maybe I would have ended up even finishing, you know, with
with bigger gains because I went red, but then I trade more aggressively and I ended up, making profit on some of these like GFRX or whatever, but at the same time, some of these false breakouts that you see right there, I could have caught a couple of those and then dug myself further into the red. So every trade you take carries risk, and the longer you're in the market each day, the more you're exposing yourself to risk. So I think there's a lot to be said for getting in, getting green, and getting out. It takes a pretty high level of discipline to continue trading throughout the day when you're in the green, to prevent yourself from catching that one loss that flushes and whips you from green to red. When you have these candles like this, and you guys saw on Friday, I took a trade and then a second later we had like a 2-point flush. That can happen. You could take a trade and then next thing you know, there's a huge algo flush and you find out the company's just posted news of a secondary offering, and you just caught, it was just bad luck, but that can happen. So the best way to control that risk is just to not be in the market, get your profit and get out. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of where I'm at for today. So locking it up here, finishing in the green, be back at it first thing tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a good day. If you're still trading, manage your risk. It's lunchtime, so maybe you'll get some afternoon momentum between 2 and 4, power hour maybe. But I'm going to just lock up the early gains, be grateful for it. And listen, there's traders out there who are beginner traders who I'll see trade all day long, and they're not booking $7,000, they're up a couple hundred, but they're trading all day long. On the other hand, there's traders who are far more experienced than me that will trade the same amount of time as I trade and book 10 times more profit because they're taking much larger positions. They've got a higher risk tolerance. Or there's also traders out there who buy and hold. And when we get really strong markets, they can do really well. So, at the end of the day, you just have to think about your job, and it's to try to be consistent. It's to try to pull profit out of the market consistently. And if you can hit your goal in less time, I think that's a good achievement. More time doesn't always mean more money. So that's it for me. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then.
I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.